reproduction of this content is not allowed without the express written consent of EBH Fitness, LLC. We're back.
Ready?
Yeah. Just play. Come on, man. All right.
America, this guy.
This guy. Hey.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Borderland Sports Report. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to actually start doing 2 shows a week, a Thursday and a Saturday show. We're going to do a pregame show, and then we're going to postgame all the matchups after that. And so I am joined here today by my new co-host, Kenny Davis. Kenny, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Stephen, I'm glad to be here, part of the Borderland Sports Report, and looking forward to talking about some amazing football this year. We've got some exciting matchups going from week 1 all the way to week 10. And then, of course, Texas football state playoffs are amazing.
Definitely. And so, you want to jump into matchups, or do you want to go to our top 10? Which one you want to do first?
Let's hit the top 10. We got some really good, talented people here in the Borderland, and I think a lot of folks out there deserve to hear about some of these young men.
Now, we're going to caveat this with this explanation here. When you start talking about 10 players are going to get left off the list. It's just the nature of the beast. There's a lot of really good, talented players that are worthy to be in the conversation for sure, and they'll get talked about a ton on this show throughout the course of the season. Plus, they came out on our BSR list to start the season anyway. But we're going to look at those. We want to identify those top 10 players that we think really should be looked at and have an eye on this upcoming season. No particular order, but we are going to go in order. But there's no particular order as far as the ranking wise. But these are our top 10 players here in the Borderland. So we start with the dog from Franklin. Oh my goodness!
Wow, Shea Smith. Shea Smith is. He is a coach's dream. Just a dynamic athlete, smart. He's a leader on the field, does it all for the Franklin Cougars, and he's certainly, obviously being recruited by a number of different schools, but he certainly is going to be the captain of the ship over there with the Franklin Cougars.
Definitely. I've been watching this young man since he was a freshman, and he has not, even from the day when he stepped in as a freshman and had to start as a quarterback, and then for him to take a back seat the next year and not play quarterback and focus solely on defense, spoke volumes about that young man's character.
Really spoke volumes about him, knowing that he had a lot to contribute to the football team. It just shows you he's a real team player.
Definitely.
And as this season progresses, you're going to see quite a bit of some amazing things out of Shea Smith.
Definitely. Now, next up, another quarterback, another stud here in the Borderland, Gael Ochoa from Pebble Hills.
Yeah, dynamic football player. Again, one of those kids. It's interesting when you think about some of these. We've seen these kids since they were young, freshmen, even some youth football. Some kids just have that it, and Gael Ochoa certainly is one of those young men who has that it. Plays really hard, dynamic football player. Again, unselfish role, will run it, throw it, do what you need him to do. He's got the size on him to be able to take the hits when necessary, and can take it the distance if he gets the right circumstance.
Definitely, and he grew up like a weed, man.
Oh yeah.
He grew like a weed.
Oh yeah. It's funny you hear, a lot of people talk about the size that he's grown in the last year and a half. You hear comments from folks, man, looks like a linebacker, a strong safety in college. But he's got a body to be able to take the pounding that a throw-in / running quarterback is going to be able to do. And so he's going to bring a lot to the table for Pebble Hills. And I tell you what, their success, a lot of it's going to be built on him.
Definitely. Now the third one. This one hits close to home.
All right.
Go on and smile, Dad. Go on and smile. We got the stud wide receiver and DB from Bel Air, Chris Davis. I'm going to start with this one because, just like the other two before him, we called these young men when they were freshmen.
Right.
Coming out of 8th grade when they were freshmen, that they were going to be the next stars in the Borderland. And without fail, he has not disappointed. Both sides of the ball, he's been dynamic on offense. I mean, I could just only imagine what he's going to do when he gets more touches. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, well, certainly the type of football player he is, he will hit you on defense and he will go get the ball on offense. He's the kind of player that what most people don't know about him, Chris is pretty quiet. He's a quiet guy, but he's got a fire that burns on the inside. And watching him play over the last several years and grow and develop, one thing you can say about him throughout his football career, he's never been afraid of anybody. He will play against anybody, get after anybody, and you've seen that throughout his high school career. And we're excited to see what he does this fall. For the Highlanders, he certainly is going to be called upon to do many things for the football team, and as just like with last year, he was called on to do a lot, and so he'll do his part for the football team. And knowing what the team, a senior-heavy football team, this is really the time. I mean, you knew it 4 years ago as they came out of middle school. Good squad, good group, and he's one of the leaders in that group, one of the captains of the team this year, and so he'll be expected to do his part.
He must get that from his mama.
Of course.
Next up, super sophomore Davion Singleton out of Chapin.
This young man is amazing. The athleticism runs in the family. His sister was an amazing athlete when she was over at Andrews, basketball player, track, just everything. Well, Davion's the same way. Again, a young man we watched this playing for the Vipers when he was really young and really small, youth football here in the Northeast, and then with BBB, and then into high school. He's been dynamic his first year. They're going to call him to do a lot. Just like last year, the ball's in his hands. You always want the ball in the best player's hands, and so he is definitely that guy, and he's going to be called on to lead the Chapin Huskies.
And very unselfish, taking a role of moving the quarterback, which is definitely not a natural position for him, but, I mean, he still flourished.
Flourished, did some amazing things, had some amazing stats. We certainly are looking forward to watching him continue to grow and develop. He's got a couple college offers already, and those are just going to continue to grow as he continues to develop and does his part for the Huskies.
Definitely. Next on the list, another super sophomore, Ryan Estrada from El Dorado. Young man definitely just came out of nowhere, in my opinion, last year and just went roughhouse on everyone. And it'll be interesting to see if he can replicate that this year. But he definitely did his thing last year for sure.
Certainly. Ray, again, been here a while in El Paso. Can remember watching him grow up again from the youth leagues, and he was a special young man then. One of those highlighted players in Under the Radar YouTube series that made its trek through El Paso, and I mean, thousands of people saw the talent that was in this young man. It was just a matter of time. And once he burst on the scene at high school, what better way to do it than have your brother at quarterback? Yeah. And they were a dynamic duo for El Dorado. And as his brother moves on to college now, and Ray's going to be there to carry the torch over at El Dorado, and he's going to be called on to carry the load certainly for the Aztecs this year.
Definitely. Another one of those studs with a family lineage. I mean, if you look at his Diego Oaxaca, the senior wide receiver out of Montwood, I mean, it seems like how many of them are there? It's like there's been 4 or 5 of them. It seems like they've been there for at least the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, it seems like with Montwood.
Yeah.
Diego is a dynamic player. I had an opportunity to see a few of his games last year, just as the way the schedule worked out. You know, in SISD they play on Thursdays, so we had a couple chances to get to see a few him play. And man, this kid is dynamic. He's got amazing hands. He's very smart. He's a very smart football player and knows how to get open. knows how to extend the routes when he needs to if the quarterback's in trouble. And so, I mean, fast, intelligent, smart, dynamic football player. And again, he's going to be one of those, along with Isaiah Claudio, that's going to be called on to really, do it for the Rams this year. They got a new head coach over there, Coach Ronhell, and so they're really going to be called to carry it for the Montwood Rams.
You know, everybody makes a big deal about the 6A and 5A schools here, but this next young man coming out of Mountain View, I mean, Hansel Hernandez, that wide receiver, free safety. I mean, just
small town. You know what? Small town football, or smaller town football. Sometimes it gets a bad rap because they like to talk about the competition and all of these things. Well, at the end of the day, football's football, and if a kid, if he'll bite, he's going to bite. He can play. And so, I think of now, okay, y'all, I'm not comparing him to Deuce Vaughn with the Cowboys, but the point is this: you don't have to be in the greatest of schools. Deuce Vaughn was at Kansas State, great school, nothing wrong with that, but kind of an undersized market, and here this guy is. Cutting his teeth to try to get a spot in the NFL. And so this young man here has really worked hard for Mountain View, and I tell you what, watch him.
Next one, bro. I'm about to kill this young man's name. I'm going to need some help with this one. Evan Mahadas, the senior running back from Eastwood. Another one of those players that just came out. I won't say came out of nowhere, but he really showed up last year for that Eastwood team.
One thing I love about Evan, known him for a long time again, from youth ball and then middle school. And, of course, while, our boys went to different high schools, Evan and Chris played on the same 7th grade team in Eastwood. Yeah. And they had a dynamic run down there. And Evan is a strong, intelligent football player who's got great speed. He will drop his shoulder, and if he needs to run you over to get the extra yard. He's got a college offer already. This young man will be doing some amazing things this year. Exciting to watch. And so I know his dad, Bobby's really proud, and we look forward to seeing Evan do his thing this year over in that district.
Definitely. And then next on the list, another one of those Bel Airs, Zach Martinez. Couldn't leave this young man off the list. He did his thing last year.
No doubt, and Zach saw him again, young, coming out of the middle school ranks, but he was a tough old school runner. He's going to get you 3, 4, 5 yards and wear you down. He's one that it's kind of old school back that as you get to more carries, you start mousing the yards. You look up, he's got 150, he's got 175 on 30 carries or something like that. So he's that kind of young man who is kind of a bell cow, cutback, throwback type of running back. I look for him this year. He's going to start off the year. He's going to be patient, and you'll see his numbers grow as the year goes along and he starts wearing down the teams. You're going to see those numbers grow. You look up, wow, the kid's got 1,600 yards at the end of the year. No doubt he'll do something like that. Amazing young man, amazing young student.
Definitely. And then to close off our offensive top 10, we got everybody always wants to talk about the position players, the skilled players. They leave out the ones that actually make it happen, the O-line. So we got, in our opinion, the best offensive lineman here in the city, Craig Wydra, the senior offensive lineman out of Andrews.
Craig Wydra is a dynamic athlete. Had an opportunity to see him not just play. I've seen him on the track as well, throwing shot and disc. I've seen him in his training regiments. He trains over there with, the trainer of all trainers out here. That's, Super Phenom and Chris Wells. He's got a number of different athletes all over this city. Many on the list train with him. But Craig Wydra is a dynamic athlete. He's strong. He's got great feet. He's got great vision. When he snaps the ball on offense, he's able to take that step. While being able to handle, a zero technique sit in front of him, or if he has to step to the left or right to get a one technique, he can do that. If he needs to run, he can run. Good-looking kid, good-looking young man. When he gets to college, somebody is getting a steal I mean, 6'3", 295 pounds. Probably by the end of the season, he'll be over 300, but just a dynamic football player.
Definitely. So, folks, that's our top 10 offensive players. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we'll give you our top 10 defensive players right after this.
Joe Burrow. I love me some Joe Burrow. Humble cat. I heard him say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. Now, can you imagine Joe Burrow with all his accolades talking about and conceding being maybe second fiddle? He didn't say who's second. He just said conceding to Patrick Mahomes. So,
all right, folks, we're back here, and now we're going to go over our top 10 defensive players, and we start the list off starting with America's High School, the sack leader from last year, Timothy Galloway, the senior defensive end. Definitely a stud there.
I mean, an absolute stud. He's long, he's athletic, he knows how to turn the corner coming off the edge. I got to see this young man at a couple of college camps this summer, and he is as advertised. I mean, really long wingspan, long arms, knows how to negotiate coming off the edge. He is going to be a problem all season long for everybody he plays. I'd be leery trying to just, handle him with just the tackle. You're probably going to have a running back chipping him on a regular basis to keep him out of the backfield and keep him off off your quarterback.
Next up, Juan Gomez, a senior out of Parkland High School.
Yeah, Gomez and Parkland last year, their defense was dominant. I mean, they really were dominant. We saw that last year firsthand. And so this young man he's going to be counted on to be an anchor on that defense this year. Only because they lost a lot of people off that defense.
They did.
And so they are really going to be looking for some leaders out there to lead the Matadors this year. And I think that this young man is going to he's going to do his part. He's going to get his tackles. He's going to get his plays. And so he's certainly going to be one of those that's going to have to help the Matadors this fall.
Next up, we got David Martinez, a senior linebacker out of El Dorado.
For Martinez and El Dorado, for them, again, they lost quite a few studs, if you will, and then there's the next stud that pops up, and he's going to be it. And so we expect that he's going to do his part in being the anchor of that defense and be able to stop the run for sure. A lot of teams in 6A are running the ball, so he's going to amass a zillion tackles, working real hard and stopping the run.
Definitely. Next up, Cameron Harrelson, the senior DB out of Montwood. Another Montwood player on the list.
Yeah, I tell you what, Cameron, again, a young man I've known for a long time, watching him come up out of youth leagues and middle school into high school, and Cameron has really just excelled. He's really tall, he's really athletic, he's rangy. For a DB, it's no wonder why he was early on getting offered by Texas State, if you will, and track athlete. He's an unsung hero on the track. The young man can run, and he's long, and he can jump too. So those are skills that are definitely needed at the DB position, and he certainly will be a guy that he's going to be a problem for people to deal with. And so they're going to have to figure out ways to play away from him.
Man, you would think after all this time I'd have learned this young man's last name. I still get. You're going to have to help me with this one. Dorian
Jaramillo,
the senior linebacker out of Pebble Hills. He's a stud for sure. I will get your name right this year, young man, I promise you. But there we go.
Dorian's an amazing football player, smart, athletic, strong. Again, old school. He will hit you and put you on the ground. And so you better have your chin strap strapped on tight, because he's coming to get you, and he is going to put you on the ground. And so he's going to be definitely a leader for Pebble Hills on the defense side of the ball. And he expecting to be a star over there. I mean, he's going to do his part.
Yep. Next up, Jacob Balderrama, senior linebacker from Bel Air. Another one of those players who I think has really stepped up into that role and really showed up and showed out.
Sure. I know some watching the show, wow, they got to be like, yeah. Jacob Balderrama, he's a 5'11", about 210-pound inside linebacker. He was 210 about May, so he's probably close to 220 now. But Jacob is also out of that old school mold, man. When he gets his read, he is going to stick his face dead in the spot he's supposed to, and he's going to try and take your head off. He also has good speed when he's called a blitz and things like that. His side-to-side mobility continues to improve. His hips continue to improve. For somebody like Jacob, had well over 120 plus tackles
Definitely.
last year. I mean, he would just eat up tackles, and that's what you look for a middle linebacker to do. They got to be able to play side to side and be able to stuff holes and stick their face in and get dirty, and that's definitely Jacob Valderrama.
And I think that's one of the things, you brought up a very valid point there, and I think people need to understand. It's about production.
Right.
Production does matter. Next up, Manny Fuller, the senior DB running back out of Del Valle.
Now, Manny, wow, we could have put Manny top 10, top 3, top whatever. Manny Fuller is a star. He's going to be, I think, if he continues on the same trajectory, he's L.J. Martin faster. All right, L.J. Martin could run, but this fella's faster than L.J. Martin. And Texas Tech saw him run 4.4 at their camp. Dynamic young man. Again, a young man that I've known since he was 8, 9 years old growing up. And so it's great seeing Manny develop. He plays for, obviously, Del Valle, the Conquistadors, and he's going to be counted on a lot on both sides of the ball. And so you can kind of just put a star by him and say running back, DB, BSR, top everything. I mean, this kid is going to be that dynamic kid. You kind of already see he's going to be the star of his class for sure.
Next up, Deuce Estrada, senior out of Eastlake.
Eastlake, now their football team and Deuce Estrada, boy, they lost Hinojosas, and they're going to be called on looking for that guy to be the one who's going to step up and make the plays for them. And of all the people we've looked at, he's going to be the guy that we would expect to go out there and really you'll hear his name a lot on Friday nights, making tackles, doing his part, doing everything he's called on to do.
Definitely. Now, you got David Alvarado, the senior DB out of Canutillo. Many people are going to be like, who was that or what? He only led the city in interceptions with 7.
7. Okay, you can't, certain things you can't teach, okay? A ball hawk is a ball hawk, and this young man is a ball hawk. And when people look at defensive players, they look for people up front. They're looking for nasty guys up front. And the middle linebacker, they want the guy to just stick his face in there. The DBs, they're looking for ball hawks, and he's definitely the ball hawk of all the ball hawks in the city. And so, I wonder, when you get that many interceptions, it's like people they look at the film, they see it, they study it. We're going to throw it at him anyway. And he still picks the ball off. And so who knows if people learn that lesson this year. It's a dynamic young man.
Definitely. Next up, Anthony Miranda, senior DB out of Americas.
Man, LT again, young man. I'm glad they asked me to come through this part of the show because most of these kids I've known not just in high school, I've known them all the way back to Little League, okay? And so it's funny, when you look at LT Miranda, he has really blossomed into an amazing football player. He's speedy, he's athletic. He will hit you on offense. He'll go get the ball. On defense, he will put you on the ground, and you can take your chance if you want to, throwing it at him. He's going to go make a play on the ball. He's going to be a leader on the America's defense, and they're going to surprise some folks this year on that side of the ball for sure.
Definitely. So, folks, that's our top 10 on the defense. So, in reality, that's our top 20, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. There's a lot of players out there. Some of you probably mad at us right now. Understood, because there's some players that should be on the list that, you can't put them all on there.
You can't put them all on there. The Isaiah Claudio's at Montwood, who's going to be amazing running back for sure for them. Is Jacob Morales over at Franklin, the running back, who's going to be amazing.
Mark Moore
is going to do amazing things. He'll put up 15. Look, I'm going to call it right now. Mark, 2,500 passing, 1,000 rushing. How about that one? So, no, I'm going to call that today. He's going to do some top-notch stuff. And so it's guys like that are going to be, you're going to hear those names every single week on the news. And so look for those guys.
Definitely. And so guys, keep working hard. We're gonna do this every week. We'll go through. We may not do the top 10 every week, but it'll definitely get updated throughout the season based off of production. This is all preseason going into the season, so just take that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it for what it's worth. Use it as bulletin board banner if you want to, but that's who we think people should be looking at right now before the season starts. That's our top 10. We'll be back right after this.
Hey everybody, welcome to season 2 of Breaking the Music. My name is DJ Lady Dubois. I will be your host for this season. I hope you guys will join us because on this show we will have artists, musicians, DJs, bands on this platform that will be able to perform for you guys. If you're looking for something that's going to take your interest, if you want to know about the music industry, come on, tune on in. Come on down here for a live studio audience. We have everything. We'll see you soon.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're gonna go into the games coming up this week, and we're gonna do our this is gonna be our pick'em section. We're gonna go through each game, pick a winner, and keep it moving. Go through real quick, and we'll see how we do on Saturday when we get back to it, right?
Exactly.
But again, this is only our opinion.
Just an opinion.
Just an opinion. So first up, El Paso High, Gadsden High School played at El Paso High School, 6:30 on Thursday. I'm taking Gadsden.
That's nice. I'm taking El Paso High. I think they had a season last year where they were improving, and Coach Aguilar's getting that team rolling, so I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Horizon High School, Jefferson High School at Jefferson, 6:30.
Woo! Okay, I'm going to go first on this one. All right. Hey, the Scorpions last year, they took some growing pains, but word I'm hearing on the street is that they've really been working really hard this summer and in the off season. And I think Coach Smith, DeJuan, I think this is where he gets his first dub this year.
I'm going with Jefferson, man. I've been really impressed at the work that's been going on over there and what they've been putting in. I think this is the time. I think they start off hot this year. I'm gonna take Jefferson. Canyon Teal, Pebble Hills, 7 p.m. at the SAC. Look, I'm taking Pebble Hills, bro.
Yeah, I got to put you on the Pebble Hills. I mean, unfortunately, Canyon Teal had an injury that's going to impact that football team. I think it will, my opinion. Yeah. And so I just think it's going to be a strong battle early on, and then it's going to be the strength of Pebble Hills that's going to take over.
Man, I think Pebble Hills just got too many dogs. They got too much.
Yeah, they got a lot of horses out there that are going to run.
That's not a knock on Canyon Teal, because they definitely bought back some stuff, but right. I don't think they got enough for this one. I think they're going to get outgunned on that one. Clint and Hirsch in Hirsch, 6 p.m.
Wichita Falls, Hershey, and Clint. Wichita Falls Hershey has been a perennial playoff team in the state of Texas, and so that is going to be a tough road game for Clint. I'm going to go with Wichita Falls.
I'm going to follow suit with you on that one, sir. I definitely am. Now here's going to be a tough one right here. Americas and Las Cruces, 7 p.m. in Las Cruces.
Now, Las Cruces is a rebuilding football team, and so I know Americas has got a new staff and all of that, but a lot of good players over there. I'm still going with the Trailblazers on this one.
Oh, man, I tell you, I think Americas has enough talent to pull it off. Yeah. This one right here for me is kind of a toss-up.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with Americas. I'm gonna go with Americas on this one, but it's a toss-up for me. Eastlake and Andress, 7 p.m. at Andress.
This one is going to be tough. Andress is young, and they're going to develop. I think Eastlake gets this done. Luke is a dynamic quarterback over there. He can do it with his arm and his legs. And while Andress is going to be very competitive in the game, I think that I think ultimately Eastlake ends up pulling away in the game.
I would agree with you on that one. I think Eastlake will have too much at the end to pull that one away. Next up, Mountain View, Alpine, at Alpine. I'm taking Alpine.
Yep. I've seen some film last year on that football team, and they're tough. They're tough-nosed, small town football, and so Mountain View, we love y'all to death.
Yeah.
That's a tough road game right there.
Fort Stockton, Austin, at Austin High School.
Woo! Can I go first?
Yes, sir.
Fort Stockton has been in the playoffs a lot, and so Austin, wow, right off the bat, Fort Stockton, that's a tough one. It's going to be a close game. I don't like picking against El Paso schools in this case. Fort Stockton has been in the playoffs a lot over the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm not talking just one round. They go 2-3 rounds deep. So I like Fort Stockton in a close football game, but it's going to be Fort Stockton in a close football game.
I'm taking Fort Stockton. I hate to say it, Austin. This is a tough game. It's going to be a tough game, but I think in the end, Fort Stockton will pull it off. Next up, San Elizario, Anthony, 7 p.m. at Anthony.
San Eli.
San Eli. I agree. Let's keep it rolling. Bel Air, Irving, at Irving, 7 p.m.
I'm going to let you speak on this one because I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this.
You know, I like the coach at Irving a lot, but I'm taking Bel Air. I'm sorry. I'm taking Bel Air.
Enough said.
Riverside High School in Isleta, 7 p.m. I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Riverside's replacing 2 studs on their football team.
They definitely are.
One of them is Division I college athlete, Speedy, and apparently Speedy is going to be making the special teams over at New Mexico State. So congratulations to you, Speedy. It's going to be a tough game for them, and it's hard to replace 2 guys right off the bat. The quarterback, Coach Martinez's son over there at Isleta, he is long, athletic, tall, got a rocket, cannon for an arm, and he's got an outside receiver that is very, very tall, very, very fast, runs about 49 seconds in the 400, which is going to equate to a 4.5, 40, maybe 4.4 on a good day. And so that's a lot of speed. And the dude's 6'1", 6'2", so that's going to be a lot to have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm taking Isleta.
Isleta.
Lubbock High, Socorro, 4 p.m. Socorro's not getting there. They're not breaking the losing streak today.
No, not gonna happen. I don't think Coach Cano's a good guy, and Coach Fama, I know he's down there coaching offensive line. And at the end of the day, the Lubbock High kids, they had a lot of speed last year. Film they were up in Lubbock, and that speed's going to come down here, and it's going to be tough.
Eastwood High, South Lake Carroll, 6 p.m. I love you, Eastwood, but you're not going into South Lake Carroll and winning. I'm sorry. I just don't see that happening.
I'm looking for, I'll put it this way, I'm looking for Eastwood to be a more competitive football game.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, looking for a more competitive football game, early fight, first, second quarter, and then as the game, rolls along, that kind of football that they play up there in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex tends to catch up to our schools, and this will be no different. Not any slight on our kids, but certainly know that South Lake Carroll, they're one of the blue bloods of Texas football, and so we're looking for Eastwood to put on a good show, looking for Evan to do his part, Max Mancia to get some stuff done for them as well. On the defensive side, we certainly want to see what Joseph is going to do at that D-end spot against some top-notch talent.
Now, I was about to say this. I will say this. If Eastwood's defense shows up and gets some stops, they got a chance to win. Sure. They're going to score some points.
Sure.
But they've got to get some stops.
They got to get some stops. And I know that they've got a couple of holes on the defense that they're trying to fill and fix. And so it's going to be interesting to see this new crop of emerging leaders step up.
Next game, Franklin High School, Centennial High School at Franklin, 7 p.m. It's everybody's game of the week. Everybody's game of the week. We're no different.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be a slugfest.
Boy, it's a tough ball game. Centennial won a state championship for Big 5A football, if you call it 6A football, if you will, the top-notch A. And I was equating that to our 6A in Texas. And so Centennial is a dynamic football team. They are loaded. It is going to be a stern test for the Franklin Cougars. What a way to start off the football season. Shay and the boys, man, just bring a lunchbox with you. Get ready, put your hard hat on. It's going to be one of those slugfests.
I think that Eastlake, not Eastlake, the Eastwood and the Franklin games, we're going to learn a lot about them real early.
Oh, absolutely.
Real early.
Absolutely. You know, and Steve, games like that are really, difficult talent teams right off the bat. Two things you want to do. You want to play well in the game and win the game, but you want to come out of those games healthy.
Healthy, definitely. That's it.
You want to come out of those games healthy because, again, at the end of the day, these are non-district games. They count, but it's not like district games. And so, if I got to pick a team, I'm going to go with the upset of the Franklin Cougars in that one.
You know, I was sitting up here and I was like, I think I'm going to take Franklin. I really think I'm going to take Franklin. You know what? I've been a Shea Smith fan for 4 years. And I'm not betting against the young man now. I'm taking Franklin.
Yeah,
I'm taking Franklin. These last two games, we got Tornillo and Morton. I'm taking Morton. And then, now, no one talks about six-man football. We're going to bring up this six-man football game because, like I've said before, this is really history. Emmanuel is bringing back tackle football.
Okay.
And so Emmanuel Christian is playing Fort Davis. Will Emmanuel win? I don't think so.
No, Steve, looking at, some of the film clips I saw, the team has got potential.
They do.
And development. And so patience. For the teams that have been playing six-man football a long time, what can be scary, those who don't know, a normal score in six-man football is 66-50 or 68-62. That's kind of how six-man football works. A lot of points are scored. And so until you figure out the dynamics and the things that really work well, it's going to take you a little while to get it. And so Emmanuel Christian, kudos to you for getting it going with that six-man. I hear Da Vinci's got their six-man program development starting up as well. And so in the future, you can look for El Paso to start hearing some of those names pop up on the scene.
Now, Fort Davis is a young team.
Right.
They are rebuilding. So it very well could be a good game. But I'm going to go with the experience of a team that's been playing for the last however long and hadn't taken 5 to 10 years off. So I'm going to take Fort Davis in that game.
No, I'm going Fort Davis too. It's just one of those experience things, regardless of what the program did last year, up and down. But they've been playing six-man ball, and so they know the ins and outs of it.
Definitely. Well, that's it, man. That's all the games we have for this week coming up. It's just been a blast doing this. I'll love to see on Saturday how well we've done and kind of really recap some of these games.
Sure. We look forward to coming back Saturday morning and see if we can get a special guest in here to come in and talk a little bit about something that we saw on Friday night. And we know that it's going to be an exciting year for football, so El Paso, get ready, BSR Sports. We're going to do our thing, Fieldhouse Sports Entertainment. We're going to do our thing, and we look forward to seeing all of y'all spend some time with us.
Definitely, and so we did talk mainly football this time. We're going to work in some more sports. We haven't forgot about you, volleyball. I haven't forgot about you. We're going to get you guys on this platform. Maybe we get one of the volleyball coaches to come on as well. But it's been another episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be blessed. Have a good one.